Real estate in Costa Rica, doing it right. My name is Andres Montejo. I'm an attorney and notary public of Costa Rica, and my expertise is real estate law, state planning, corporate law, business, mergers and acquisitions, intellectual property, and notary services. This is a class on real estate, how to do it in Costa Rica. We're going to talk about different topics such as who can buy real estate in Costa Rica, how to buy it, the whole process of purchasing, the different types of properties that could be purchased, and we're also going to talk about financing and estate planning. So our first topic is who can buy real estate in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is a democratic country in Central America and very stable. And according to our constitution, everybody has the right to buy real estate in Costa Rica with some little exceptions. In other words, foreigners have all the rights as Costa Ricans except political rights, and in the case of buying real estate, some little exceptions. This means then that foreigners have the same rights of buying real estate in Costa Rica as the Costa Ricans, and they could do it under their family name or even with a foreigner corporation. So how do you buy? Buying under what? This means that if foreigners have the same rights in order to purchase real estate in Costa Rica, they could do it under their family name. So Mr. X, a U.S. citizen as an example, could purchase real estate in Costa Rica under his name, Mr. X, without a problem. Also, could be done under a Costa Rican corporation. This means then that also based on our constitution and all our laws, foreigners could also have corporations in Costa Rica and buy real estate under these corporations. We have two different kinds of corporations that could be used for these purposes. What in Costa Rica is called in Spanish Sociedad Anónima, also known as SA, and the translation could be something like Anonymous Corporation or Partnership Corporation. And we also have what in Spanish is called Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada, which the translation will be LLC or Limited Liability Corporation. So we basically have these two different corporations. And it's important for you to know the main differences between one and the other one. And of course, this is a whole semester in the university about the differences between one and the other one. But for real estate purposes, and especially for foreigners buying in Costa Rica, what would be the main differences between an SA, an anonymous corporation, and a limitada or LLC or limited corporation? The SRL or LLC in English, the limited corporation, was created basically for small businesses, for family businesses. In this way, there's no need of having a board of directors. It means that all what is needed is a general manager, and you could also have sub-managers or 2 or 3 managers. But what is important is that no board is needed. It means that only one officer is enough for the company. The other important aspect of an LLC is that there's no shares. the real name in Spanish will be cuotas. The translation will be quotes, and actually for a good explanation it's better to call them shares. But it's not exactly a share, it's a quote. Quote. Now, in order to transfer the quotes, need to be an agreement of all the shareholders of the company. If we go to an SA or a partnership corporation, this was created for bigger businesses, for bigger enterprises, for doing big things. And that's why it needs a board of directors. This board needs at least 3 members: president, secretary, and treasurer. Could have more. We can have also vice presidents and other members, and also what is called a fiscal in Spanish. We can translate that as a comptroller is needed. Means we need at least 4 members in order to have an SA. And at least the president will be also an officer with full power of attorney, or could be somehow limited, but will have power of attorney. This means also that there will be much more activity in the company than in an SRL or a limited corporation. In regard to the shares, it has shares, and we can have it physically done. So we will have different shares according to the capital stock of the company, and the shares could be transferred by simply an endorsement of the document of the share. All corporations need to have what we call the legal books. So both corporations will have minutes books for the shareholders. Both corporations will have accounting books, and both corporations are going to have what I call in English the shareholders' private registry book. In this book, every time there is a transfer of the shares, an entry needs to be done in order to have a record of who the shareholders are. But this is not registered at the public registry. This is that's why I call it private. But both companies are going to have it. So another difference between one and the other one is that the limited does not have a board of directors. So they do not need a minute book for the board because there is no board. So the SA will have 6 different books, 3 accounting and 3 legal. The limited will have 5 books, will be the same 3 accounting books and 2 legal books. Now, which one do I recommend? Well, it all depends on what the purchaser wants to do. Let's say they want to buy a simple, small condo. Well, if they want to do it under a corporation, makes much more sense to do it with a limited corporation, with an LLC, than with an SA. Because usually it's one person, or it's a couple, or it's a small family buying the condo. Well, you can have 1, 2 managers, and that will be enough. Now, if what you're buying is a property in which a hotel is going to be built, obviously it's much better to have an SA because it's going to be a running business. But you need to have these main differences between one corporation and the other one in order to decide which one is better for a foreigner buying real estate in Costa Rica. Now, as I said, also the foreigner could come with his own corporation from overseas and buy real estate with that corporation. The problem that we face is that this corporation would be needed, we would need to record this corporation in the Costa Rican public registry that I'm going to explain also about it. And it's a little bit more complicated. So if they want to have a foreign corporation owning the real estate, probably it's better that this foreigner corporation will buy a Costa Rican corporation and will be the holding of the Costa Rican one. And we also have the option to place the property that is purchased in what is called a trust. Obviously, this needs to be a Costa Rican trust under the Costa Rican laws. But the good thing of the trust is that the foreigner that is buying, or even the Costa Rican that is buying, it's not the owner of the property. It's owned by a trust, by a separate trust, with specific instructions on what to do with that property and to whom this property needs to be given at certain point in time. What do I recommend? I recommend foreigners to purchase real estate in Costa Rica under an LLC, a limited liability corporation, or a limitada, if it is a small business or if it is only a property for their use, and under an SA if a big business is going to take place in that property. And afterwards, once they have the property under the corporation, then we can plan this estate and create trusts if needed. Okay, this is the first part.